Geordi talks to Guinan about Barkley, and amazingly, she's decent and actually treats him like a person. Crazy you?
Well, he's always late. The man's nervous. Nobody wants to be around this guy.
If I felt that nobody wanted to be around me, I'd probably be late and nervous too.
Guinan, that's not the point.
Are you sure?
No, that can't possibly be the case because that would mean we're a bunch of gossiping dicks and... oh. Geordi tries to find Barkley, sees that he's on the holodeck, and just barges right on in.
You know, they never make clear in the episode whether or not Geordi has any right to Barkley's time at this moment, whether he's on duty or not. If he is, this is Barkley's bad, but if not, you're just barging in while he's on his free time. You'd think there'd be some sort of lockout, or that Barkley would at least get a warning that someone had walked into his holodeck program.
It turns out he's recreated the command crew, and Wesley, to fight and conquer, or play with, or romance, or otherwise interact with. It's kinda creepy, but generally pretty harmless, I would say. At the moment, he's Musketeer dueling Data, Picard, and Geordi.
Now, as far as I'm concerned, what you do in the holodeck is your own business, as long as it doesn't interfere with your work. It is kind of unusual recreating people you already know.
Kind of seems like it'd be the opposite of this based on what gaming culture does with things like Minecraft and customized characters and such. But to be fair, that concept was barely in its infancy at the time they made this episode.
Still, though, this is around the time when I was 10 or 11, and I remember playing Oregon Trail using the names of my friends as my wagon party, or other people at the time playing things like D&D using their friends as their characters and objects from their life as part of the adventure. So it wasn't a completely new concept even then.
Barkley clarifies his issue, which is basically, as we said, a common, if not extreme, introversion.
Listen, Reg, I really do want you to talk to Counselor Troy.
Man, Geordi, I thought you were being nice to him, but you do that? And now the transporters are not working either.
Glad I don't have anywhere to go.
Barkley goes to Counselor Troy for his therapy/punishment.
Oh, that makes it sound like it's going to be what he does in the holodeck.
Most people find a counselor intimidating at first.
I know, I can be pretty scary.
That is extremely helpful. Thank you for your time.
But
really, that's very helpful. In through the nose, out through the mouth. I'm going to practice that, and I'll let you know. Thank you again.
oh.
Where is Mr. Barkley? It's past 1400 hours.
And Barkley's late to the meeting again. Okay, this is a real problem, and Riker's had enough of it. So now he and Troy join Geordi in intruding on Barkley's holodeck time. But again, this is definitely Barkley on duty, so this is full on Barkley's in the wrong. Let's not deny that. Troy and Riker are arguing, Troy saying that this is really harmless and it could do harm if you took this away from Barkley, and Riker seems offended, especially when he sees Barkley's version of himself.
Number one!
Here I come! Am I late? Did I miss the fight? On guard!
You are very tall. It might be threatening to some people.
That's actually kind of funny. Troy seems to change her tune when she sees Barkley's version of her, which really is not that bad and arguably more modest and dignified than her normal self. Or maybe that's what she's offended at.
That's the face you make when you find gay porn of yourself. Not the face you make when you see yourself in a funny costume.
Muzzle it.
And now the malfunction is starting to affect the warp drive and they kick into high warp. No time to punish Barkley, it's time to get to engineering and deal with this issue. On the way to engineering, they have a brief discussion about this, however, and Reginald admits that the holograms feel more real to him than regular people, except for Geordi. He's getting better. Now they can't get out of warp at all, and the ship is going to fly apart in a short amount of time.
There's nothing I can do.
Shit. Barkley uses some lateral thinking and figures out that the connection between these systems is not anything inside the ship and how they're wired, but rather the people that have been working on it, specifically Duffy and O'Brien. And once they realize that, they figure out what caused this was the chemicals from the very beginning that spilled. And once they figure that out, now they have a solution they can fix the ship with.
The forge to bridge. We have a working theory, Captain.
Working theories are fine, Jordy, but we need a working solution in about 5 minutes.
Understood, Commander. We're on our way to Cargo Bay 5 for confirmation.
With all due haste.
They confirmed the substance and technobabble solution. Really, the climax was about Barclay being there to figure it out, not about the solution itself.
Nice work, Jordy.
Mr. Barkley and I thank you, sir.
Acknowledged.
Yeah, I hate that he's the one who saved us. So Barclay says goodbye to the bridge crew. Only, of course, this is his holographic bridge crew, and he won't be dealing with them ever again because he's going cold turkey.
Therapeutic massage can be an effective treatment for insomnia, Lieutenant.
Cold turkey.
Who's your friend, Reg?
Yes, aren't you going to introduce me?
Computer, delete characters.
Cold turkey.
Computer. End program. Erase all programs filed under Reginald Barclay. Accept program 9.
Ah, Riker and Wesley go to Camp Crystal Lake. Good choice. And that's Hollow Pursuits. Laura Wiki wanted this because she didn't like this episode. She didn't like the character. To each his own. There's nothing wrong with that, but Kim and I have to disagree with you, Laura. We like this episode and we really like this character.
Some of it is probably because we're nerds and we empathize with him. But I also feel like this character was a good addition to the TNG and later Voyager cast. They did interesting things with him. They used him to shake up the status quo.
I know this episode has often been pointed out as being some sort of a symbol about Star Trek fans or sci-fi fans because they're so awkward and socially maladjusted and they're fixated on fantasy, and I suppose that's possible, certainly, but I don't think it's as universal as people think because when I saw this episode, I didn't even make the connection. It didn't even enter my mind. I just thought it was an awkward man. So, yes, it certainly applies to sci-fi fans, but I don't think this is exclusively about them. This is about anyone who's awkward or shy or introverted, and that, yes, there's a place. And I like that while Barclay is sympathetic, probably more sympathetic than the episode wanted him to be, at least for me, he still is flawed and has to overcome these flaws. But he's not some sort of straw man that has all our flaws put into him, and then we just get rid of him. Like, done on that one Voyager episode.
Good Shepherd.
No, this feels like a real living person. Dwight Schultz really does a good job acting with him. Adds lots of subtle tics and things that make him feel real. And I find him very likable. I'm glad that of all the guest stars, he's going to be the one that makes a constant reappearance. So thank you, Joyce. Thank you, Laura. And as usual, decide for yourselves. But as for me, I'm calling Hollow Pursuits SOS TNG.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? All those nights when you've got no lights, the check is in the mail, and your little angel hung the cat up by its tail, and your third fiance didn't show. Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. Roll out of bed, Mr. Coffee's dead. The morning's looking bright. And your shrink ran off to Europe and didn't even write. And your husband wants to be a girl. Be glad there's one place in the world where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
I know I can be pretty scary.
Oh, too many can't see her face when she makes that voice.